There was a time when the cry of a newborn child could shake an entire community with fear. A time when twins were seen as a curse. A time when mothers hid their tears in silence. But one woman walked into the heart of that fear, challenged a belief that ruled for centuries, and changed an entire culture forever. Welcome to Cammy the Storyteller. This is the story of Mary Slessor, the woman who walked into fear and changed a people forever. The story begins in Scotland, many years ago, with a young girl named Mary Slessor. She was born into a very poor family. Life was hard for her from the beginning. Her father drank too much and often wasted what little money they had. Her mother worked long hours in a mill just to keep the family alive. At only 11 years old, Mary started working in a factory to help her mother feed her younger brothers and sisters. Mary did not have an easy childhood, but she had something powerful. She had courage. She also had a fierce desire to help people. Her mother always told stories about faraway places where people needed help. Those stories planted a fire in Mary's heart. As Mary grew older, she joined a missionary society. She wanted to travel to Africa. She wanted to teach, to care for children, and most importantly, to bring hope to places where hope was weak. She heard stories about a place called Calabar, in what is now Nigeria. Many missionaries were afraid to go there. Calabar was known as the white man's grave because many Europeans died from sickness when they arrived. It was also a land with deep traditions. Some of these traditions were good. Some were harsh. And many believed outsiders should not interfere. But Mary did not run from danger. She ran toward it. She said one sentence that defined her entire life. "If I must die, I will die at my post." When she arrived in Calabar, everything was new to her. The language was different. The weather was hot. The people did not trust her at first. But Mary had patience. She listened to the language. She sat with the women. She played with the children. She slept on mud floors. She ate what they ate. Slowly, they began to accept her. It was during this time that Mary heard shocking stories about the killing of twins. The origin of the belief. In many parts of the Efik land, twins were seen as a curse. The elders believed that one of the children belonged to an evil spirit. They believed the mother had done something wrong or had been touched by dark forces. Because they could not tell which twin was the cursed one, both children were abandoned in the forest. Some were thrown into the bush. Some were left beside garbage pits. Some were simply left to die. Mothers had no power to fight this rule. If a woman cried too loudly, the elders would accuse her of protecting evil. Many gave birth in fear. Many prayed that only one child would come. The entire community obeyed this tradition because they believed it kept them safe. The belief was passed down from one generation to another. No one questioned it. No one challenged it. It was simply life. Until Mary Slessor arrived. When Mary first heard about the killing of twins, she could not believe it. She thought it was a rumor. But when she saw the truth with her own eyes, she broke down in tears. She saw abandoned babies, weak and cold, lying in bushes. She saw mothers hiding to cry in silence. She saw fear everywhere. Mary made a decision right there. She would not let another child die if she could stop it. Mary Slessor and the fight against the tradition. Mary began to walk from village to village. She entered places where no woman had ever entered without permission. She entered places where even men feared to go. She looked chiefs in the eye and told them the belief was wrong. She stood before elders and explained that twins were not evil. She spoke with a confidence that surprised everyone. At first, they ignored her. They said she was a foreign woman who did not understand their ways. They warned her that interfering with traditions could bring spiritual danger. They told her to mind her own business. Mary refused. When she heard a woman had given birth to twins, Mary would run through thick bush paths to reach the home before the villagers arrived. She fought with her words. She fought with her hands. She grabbed babies from danger. She stood in front of angry men who said the land would be cursed if twins were allowed to live. Some people called her stubborn. Some said she was crazy. Some said she was tempting death. But the mothers called her something else. They called her a savior. Mary cared for every twin she rescued. She raised many of them as her own children. Her mud home was filled with babies crying, laughing, sleeping, and growing under her watch. Some nights she stayed awake just to keep them alive because sickness was common and medicine was scarce. She never complained. She believed every child she saved was worth more than all her discomfort. The turning point. As the years passed, people began to notice something shocking. The twins Mary raised did not bring any curse. They did not bring death. They did not bring misfortune. In fact, the children grew up healthy. They played. They smiled. They became strong. Slowly, fear began to break. When mothers saw their twins living safe under Mary's care, they started to question the tradition. When chiefs saw that the land did not fall into disaster, they began to listen. When elders saw that no evil spirit appeared, they began to rethink their belief. The power of fear began to collapse under the power of truth. Mary continued to win hearts through her bravery. She learned to speak ethic. She sat with chiefs and settled village disputes. She delivered babies. She nursed sick people back to health. She became one of them, not as a stranger, but as a respected leader. Soon, the very communities that once defended the killing of twins began to reject it. They even started protecting twins themselves. A tradition that lasted for centuries began to fall apart because one woman had the courage to enter the fire and refused to run. The legacy. After many years, Mary Slessor became a legend in Calabar. She changed laws. She transformed beliefs. She saved countless children and protected many mothers. She earned a title that was rarely given to outsiders. They called her Mama of all. When Mary died in 1915, the whole region mourned her. Chiefs, mothers, fathers, and children walked long distances to pay respect. They buried her with so much honor because they knew her life had reshaped their history. Today, in Calabar, the killing of twins is gone. Mothers celebrate twins. Communities cherish them. It is impossible to think such a belief ever existed. And it is all because a poor factory girl from Scotland stood up and said no. She refused to watch children die. She refused to bow to fear. She refused to accept that tradition should continue simply because it was old. She changed a culture with courage, patience, and love. That is the power of one determined person.